without too much damage. He lost a bunch of units, lost a pylon or two in here, but nothing too bad. We can check out the units lost. 44 to 48, actually pretty equal, but in terms of money spent, I mean, Marines are cheap throwaway units, so in terms of cost, it was just about double for SCMothership. Now he's going to do a little bit of a counterattack with a stalker push. Actions per minute, pretty standard. Let's see what else we got here. Spending. Don't know what that tab's for, but sure, why not? So we got Marines stimming in. These stalkers are not going to be able to fight off all of these Marines. Almost 3-4 rows, 23 Marines. Unfortunately, without medevacs to heal them up, they're not going to be able to regenerate any of their health. And every time he stims them, they die a little bit more. Check the production. Ooh, looks like we're going to have a secondary expansion from TAWimfail. And he sent a sneaky SUV down to the bottom to pick up the gold expansion. Now, the gold expansion is nice because it's off the beaten path, and if SCMothership isn't expecting it, he can very easily hold on to this position. It's more security through obscurity, though, because with his army all the way up here, it takes such a long time to go all the way to the bottom of the map. So if SCMothership happens to stumble across it, or if he puts up a robotics bay and scouts it, it's going to be very difficult for Fail to defend it. So we have ourselves 16 stalkers, one barely holding on for dear life. It's got the 80 shields though, that'll help. And they are just going to work their way in. Sorry about that, folks. Go away. That's Adrenaline asking me when he's going to cast his game. Soon, buddy, soon. Another Tom member, so look for his game coming up. We got all of these guys, and then we have a probe coming down. He's going to build a pylon, which is nice. And they're going to break down the rocks and come into Fail's completely unprotected secondary expansion. Looks like he's got Marine Marauders, but they're out of position. As soon as these rocks go down, these stalkers are going to come in and be able to massacre every single one of these SCVs. They don't see it coming. They just look up, bam, all of them. Fail's not seeing it. He's not pulling his SCVs out. He's not pulling his army in. He tries to lift off that command center, but it's just not going to happen. So we have the SCVs retreating, and we have the armies running out. However, these are unupgraded Marauders, and as you can see, they don't have concussive shells, and they don't have combat shields. So this is going to make it very difficult for TWA to take on all of these stalkers. Stalkers doing massive amounts of damage to Marines. Marauders, if they have concussive shells, they'll be able to do a lot more damage, slow them down. But with this nice concave we got here, all of these stalkers are able to just completely destroy all of Fail's forces. Fail's got a rebuild. Looks like he's got Thors on the way. Got 3 factories up. SCV's not hanging around. It's going to be rough, though, supporting all of these gas-heavy Thors off one refinery. TWA Fail has only got 1 refinery. He's got all of these stalkers in front of his base. His only hope is that this Thor and this Hellion will be able to come out and save the day, but all these stalkers are running up the ramp. Take a look at the units. We have nothing. No army at all. We have 3 Marines come out to completely destroy 2 Thors coming out. TWA knows he's in trouble. He surrounds the Thors with his SCV. He's got no mining going on at the top. He's still got his gold expansion at the bottom. Both of these Thors able to survive, being very smartly repaired by the SCVs. We got the Hellion, not so lucky. Almost dead, but we got 11 stalkers. Decide to retreat, but he's still got the pylon down there, which not only gives him vision should Fail decide to move out again, but it also allows him to warp in units down here near its 3rd expansion. So Fail doing alright, not building any medevacs, but he's only got 1 gas, which is really hurting him, because this mid to late game he's got 3 factories not building anything because he just doesn't have the gas. So you could see he's throwing down 2 refineries at his gold, and then is building a 3rd expansion. I'm not sure where he's going to put that one. SCMothership grabbed his 2nd and is currently filling it full of units, which should be wonderful. Supply tab, as you can see, he got 70 to 50 in SCMothership's favor because he's got all of these stalkers. See a scan going down. He sees that we've got Blink, Robotics Bay. We got an Immortal coming out, which are very effective against Marines. We got one little SCV going Sunday Drive, maybe. Passes by the Zelnaga Tower, doesn't see anything. Completely missed the pylon and the probe hanging out, which is very dangerous because SCMothership can warp in units in this general area, and Fail will not see them until they're right in his base again. Poor little SCV gets immediately destroyed by these smoke monsters. So we got an Immortal on the map, very good unit. And we see that SCMothership is starting to pull ahead in terms of the army tab. Got 15 Stalkers, still only the 2 Thors because TAWimfail is completely unable to produce with only up. Looks like he's finally built his second gas and filled those. These 2 gases, only 1 SCV mining them, so that's effectively 2/3 of a gas instead of 2 fully operational gas. But we'll see if he decides to pick that up. So we can see the resources tab. Not so the income tab. That's the one we want. Slowly starting to... Yeah, he's about 100 behind in terms of gas. But with the gold, he's about 500 ahead in minerals. And if you're going for a marine heavy build, it doesn't hurt to have all of those minerals lying around, because we all know that marines are cheap. They got stim, they got their shield upgrades, a couple medevacs. Yep, looks like we got a medevac, which will be able to help them, because stim, then you heal them. SCMothership with a nice supply, maybe a couple zealots in there would help out. Working on the death ball. I don't think doesn't look like he's going for Thors. It looks like he's just going to produce Immortals. The army tabs, supply tabs have pretty much evened out. We got the upgrades on the Thors going on. More Thors being produced. Looks like SCMothership is doing a little redecorating. Open up these locks. Unfortunately or unfortunately, you got these Thors. You got the little bit of ball here. Is going to be able to protect them, but they are moving out, which could be dangerous for Fail. He does not see that these rocks are being destroyed, but cheekily
mineral field depleted.
Throwing up another expansion up there, another expansion down there, and sees the pylon's going to take that out. Still does not see. Still does not see all of these Stalkers and Zealots and Immortals coming into his base. One Thor, looks like he's on the move. Gonna get completely wiped out by Blink Stalkers. And TAWimfail is kind of like, should I go back and defend my base or should I push forward? Looks like he decided to push forward. So you might see a little bit of a base race. Unfortunately, with the 2 extra man centers up top and down below, not a fight SCMothership can win. And after the destruction of those pylons that were up there, we can see that his supply block cannot warp in any units whatsoever. So now he's pulling from his main attack force to return to his base, but he might not be able to get there in time due to distance. Looks like his Nexus is going to go down. All of his pylons, his robotics bay, just completely creamed. The Immortals, the Stalkers all coming back. Not quite able to do enough damage. These, looks like we got 5 Thors here and a whole bunch of Marines that are just going to walk right into the secondary expansion. SCMothership completely supply blocked. He pulled his units right out of Fail's base to try to defend the secondary, but these Stalkers are no match for these Thors. So his secondary goes down, and that looks like that's approaching the end for SCMothership. Bases, 2 Stalkers. Yep, looks like he has an Observer and 1 probe on the map. So SCMothership, GG's out of this one. Well played for both players, though. This is Xenokilla of Ta signing out. Feel free to visit our website, taw.net. Thank you very much and have a nice day.